If you're a diehard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. The entire NFL community was shaken this week by an unexpected and dramatic twist involving the Cleveland Browns. Two of their main offensive stars, quarterback Dillon Gabriel and backup quarterback Shedeur Sanders, have reportedly been suspended for violating the league's substance abuse policy. The rumor began to circulate early Monday morning, when several insiders claimed that both players tested positive for banned performance-enhancing substances. While the official statement from the Browns remains vague, sources close to the organization suggest that the league had been conducting quiet investigations over the past few weeks. What makes this situation even more shocking is the timing. Both players were tested separately and supposedly failed their respective screenings within the same week. Fans, analysts, and even rival teams have been left speechless. The Browns, who were building strong momentum this season, suddenly find themselves at the center of one of the most surprising controversies of the year. Nobody expected this kind of scandal to emerge from a team that seemed to have finally found stability after years of turbulence. And now, with both quarterbacks under investigation, questions are being raised not only about the players' integrity, but also about the internal control within the franchise itself. Inside sources claim the Browns' locker room has been in complete disarray since the news broke. Players reportedly found out through social media before the coaching staff had time to address the issue formally, which only intensified the confusion. Dillon Gabriel, who had recently been praised for his leadership and work ethic, now faces a storm that could damage his reputation permanently. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders, the young and charismatic backup known for his confidence and growing popularity, suddenly finds himself in the same spotlight, but for all the wrong reasons. Some reports even suggest that both players were part of a shared off-season training program outside of team supervision, where the alleged substances might have been introduced. If that's true, the implications are massive, because it would mean the problem extends beyond the Browns and into the broader athlete training network. Right now, fans are demanding answers. The media is circling like sharks, and the Browns management is scrambling to find the right words to control the narrative. As expected, the NFL has remained tight-lipped, issuing only a short statement confirming that two players from the Cleveland Browns are under review for potential policy violations. That short message, however, did little to calm the storm. Sports talk shows exploded, analysts began speculating about potential suspensions, and fan forums turned into heated battlegrounds of accusations and defenses. Some people argue that the league's testing procedures are inconsistent, while others insist that the responsibility lies squarely on the athlete's shoulders. What makes the case particularly intriguing is that both Gabriel and Sanders play the same position, meaning the Browns might suddenly be without a starting or backup quarterback for several critical games. The timing couldn't be worse, especially as the team was climbing the division standings and eyeing a potential playoff push. Rumors are flying that the Browns' general manager has been on the phone nonstop, exploring emergency quarterback options just in case the suspensions are upheld. The uncertainty is suffocating the team and its fan base, who have already endured more than their fair share of chaos over the years. Behind the scenes, there's growing speculation about how something like this could have happened to two players in the same position, on the same team, in the same week. Some insiders are whispering about a potential supplier linked to a group of private trainers operating in Texas, where both Gabriel and Sanders reportedly trained during the offseason. If those rumors turn out to be true, the scandal could extend far beyond Cleveland and into an underground network of trainers providing questionable supplements to athletes across multiple leagues. Others, however, are urging caution, arguing that it's too soon to assume guilt before the full details are confirmed. But the damage is already done in the court of public opinion. Social media platforms are flooded with memes, hot takes, and even conspiracy theories suggesting that this was part of a setup to derail the Browns' season. Whether that's true or not, the narrative is spiraling out of control, and the team's public relations department faces an impossible task of repairing both the image of its players and the credibility of the organization. For Dillon Gabriel, this could be career-defining. The young quarterback, who had finally found his rhythm after a rocky start in the league, now faces an uphill battle to restore his name. His supporters insist that he's being targeted unfairly, pointing out his squeaky clean record and disciplined approach to training. Others believe that even if the test results are accurate, it might have been a case of unintentional ingestion, a tainted supplement, or mislabeled product. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders' situation brings additional media firepower because of his famous last name. Being the son of NFL legend Deion Sanders has always put him under an unforgiving spotlight, and this scandal amplifies that pressure tenfold. Both players are expected to undergo further testing, and appeals are reportedly in motion, but the longer the process drags on, the worse it looks for the Browns. It's a nightmare scenario for a franchise that has spent years trying to rebuild its reputation as a serious contender. As of now, team insiders say head coach Kevin Stefanski is trying to keep the squad focused, though morale has reportedly dipped significantly. The locker room, once buzzing with optimism, now feels heavy and uncertain. Veteran players are stepping up to calm the younger guys, but even they admit privately that this kind of distraction can derail an entire season. Some teammates are standing by Gabriel and Sanders, saying they deserve the benefit of the doubt, while others are frustrated that two key players may have jeopardized the team's chemistry. Meanwhile, rival teams are watching closely, sensing an opportunity to capitalize on the Browns' sudden instability. With every passing hour, more questions emerge. How long did the league know? Were there previous warnings? And most importantly, how will this affect the Browns' long-term future? One thing is clear. This story is far from over, and whatever happens next could reshape not just Cleveland's season, but the careers of two young quarterbacks who once carried the hopes of an entire fan base. If you thought the first wave of this scandal was intense, the second wave has been pure chaos. Over the weekend, reports surfaced claiming that both Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders have filed formal appeals with the NFL, insisting that the test results were flawed. According to an unnamed source within the players' union, both athletes are demanding independent retesting, claiming the initial samples were compromised during handling. That single claim sent shockwaves through the league because it raises serious questions about the integrity of the NFL's drug testing process. Some insiders even say that the players' attorneys are considering filing lawsuits if the suspensions aren't overturned. The Browns, meanwhile, have chosen silence, issuing only a brief statement expressing support for the due process of all involved. But behind closed doors, executives are panicking. They know that even if Gabriel and Sanders are eventually cleared, the stain of this scandal won't fade quickly. Sponsors are reportedly holding meetings to re-evaluate partnerships, and fans have started flooding social media with hashtags calling for transparency. The entire situation feels like a ticking time bomb ready to explode, and everyone in Cleveland knows that one wrong move could make it worse. The rumor mill has gone wild with theories about how both tests could have failed simultaneously. Some believe the players were taking legal supplements that somehow triggered false positives. Others are pointing fingers at the NFL's testing contractor, alleging that a recent change in lab partnerships could have introduced procedural errors. A few even claim that rival teams might have tipped off league investigators after spotting unusual recovery patterns in the Browns' practices. While none of this is confirmed, it's feeding a non-stop stream of speculation that's dominating every sports show in America. The Browns fan base, one of the most passionate and long-suffering in football, is now split between anger and disbelief. Some feel betrayed, others are ready to defend their players no matter what. The city of Cleveland, which had finally started believing in a winning culture again, now feels the weight of déjà vu. Another promising season tainted by off-field drama. And the worst part? The league still hasn't announced when the appeal results will be made public. Behind the scenes, Shedeur Sanders' camp has been particularly vocal, emphasizing that their client has never used banned substances and that he's being unfairly targeted because of his growing fame. Sources close to his father, Deion Sanders, say the legendary Primetime himself has been making phone calls to league officials, demanding clarity. Dillon Gabriel, on the other hand, has maintained a more reserved approach, reportedly focusing on training privately while his legal team handles the situation. Both players have received a wave of support from fellow athletes who believe the NFL's policies can sometimes be unforgiving and opaque. Some players even shared stories of being falsely flagged for supplements bought over the counter. But as sympathetic as some might be, the Browns coaching staff can't ignore the practical side. Without either quarterback available, the offense is in limbo. Backup plans are being drawn up, emergency tryouts discussed, and there's talk of signing a veteran free agent just to keep the team afloat. It's a logistical nightmare that no one in Cleveland saw coming. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. Meanwhile, the league's investigation continues to widen. According to insiders, the NFL has begun tracing the origin of the supplements both players admitted to taking before the tests. Early indications point toward a small training facility in Dallas, where both athletes spent part of their offseason. The facility, known for working with high-profile college and professional athletes, is now under intense scrutiny. Reporters are already camped outside its doors, trying to get comments from trainers and nutritionists. If the investigation finds that the substances came from a tainted batch or mislabeled product, the narrative could shift dramatically in favor of Gabriel and Sanders. But until that happens, the cloud of suspicion remains thick. The NFL, of course, won't confirm or deny any details, citing ongoing procedures, but everyone knows the damage to public perception is already severe. The Browns' season, once filled with optimism, now feels like it's hanging by a thread woven from rumor, frustration, and uncertainty. The media circus surrounding this story has become impossible to contain. Every sports show, podcast, and YouTube channel is dissecting every angle, and the theories are getting wilder by the day. Some pundits suggest that this could be part of a larger crackdown by the league, using the Browns as an example to send a message. Others argue that it's simply bad luck, a bizarre coincidence that two players happened to test positive within the same week. But in today's world of social media, perception often outweighs truth. Videos of Gabriel and Sanders are being remixed into memes, late-night shows are cracking jokes, and the players' families are reportedly receiving hate messages online. It's ugly, it's messy, and it's unfair, but that's the reality of fame in modern sports. The Browns' PR department is trying to spin the narrative toward patience and trusting the process, yet the noise is deafening. Even teammates are starting to feel the pressure, with some privately admitting that the locker room feels cursed. Now, as the team prepares for their next game without clarity about who will be under center, the atmosphere in Cleveland is tense. Fans arriving at practice sessions are chanting in support of Gabriel and Sanders, holding signs that read, "Let them play." Others, however, are calling for accountability, arguing that no one is above the rules, no matter how talented. The organization stands at a crossroads: defend its players publicly and risk backlash if they're guilty, or distance itself and risk losing trust from within. It's a lose-lose scenario either way. But beyond the drama, there's a bigger conversation emerging about the NFL's testing system, player rights, and the fragile balance between performance and ethics in professional sports. Whether Gabriel and Sanders are eventually cleared or punished, this incident will leave a lasting mark, not only on their careers but on the Browns' identity as a team. For now, all Cleveland can do is wait, hope, and brace itself for whatever truth finally comes to light. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!